Welcome back to Hindu Infopedia, your genuine info source. In our last episode, we traced how France's September 2025 protests were not fresh upheaval, but the continuation of July's riots. The same neighborhoods, the same actors, the same demographic pressures resurfacing under a new name. We showed how demographic continuity linked July's so-called youth unrest with September's rebranded labor protests. We also set this within the broader series Sacred Texts versus Universal Rights. There we uncovered how doctrines reshape law, how selective rights protections distort norms, and how demographic concentrations shift balance across Europe. From religious demographics in action to Abrahamic religions alliance, the pattern remained constant. Surface narratives may change, but demographics anchor reality. Now, we continue that thread. In September 2025, France witnessed protests under the banner Bloquons tous, block everything. Media framed them as labor unrest. But were they? This analysis argues otherwise. When measured against France's long history of genuine worker militancy, September's actions carried none of the hallmarks of labor struggle. Instead, they revealed something different. A demographic strategy cloaked in the language of class solidarity. In September 2025, France witnessed protests under the banner Bloquons tous, block everything. Media framed them as labor unrest. But were they? This blog argues otherwise. When measured against France's long history of genuine worker militancy, September's actions carried none of the hallmarks of labor struggle. Instead, they revealed something different. A demographic strategy cloaked in the language of class solidarity. Real labor unrest always starts with bread and butter issues: wages, pensions, working conditions. May 1968 fused student anger with worker demands that led to the Grenelle agreements. Shorter hours, wage increases, and recognition of unions. Pension protests in 1995 and again in 2023 resisted retirement reforms with equal clarity. September 2025 was different. Its rallying cry was not higher pay or better conditions, but the resignation of President Macron. That's not workplace bargaining. It's political destabilization dressed as labor. Traditionally, French strikes hit sector by sector. Transport unions shutting trains, refinery workers blocking fuel, or teachers walking out. Germany's IG Metall has targeted auto plants. Britain's RMT union staged rail stoppages. September 2025 broke this mold. Disruption hit airports, hospitals, transport, and public services all at once. A scattershot method requiring coordination outside union structures. It resembled the territorial tactics of July's riots, not labor strikes. Every authentic labor protest carries fingerprints of unions. CGT, CFDT, and FO normally issue communiques, raise banners, and send negotiators. Personalities like Philippe Martinez, Laurent Berger, or Mick Lynch in the UK became recognizable precisely because labor requires visible leadership. September's Bloquons tous lacked this. Reuters described it as leaderless. The Guardian highlighted its anonymous online birth. CFDT, France's largest union, refused endorsement. CGT's Sophie Binet called it nebulous, and warned against co-optation. A few smaller collectives tagged along, but unions were not the authors. This shows borrowed credibility, not union-driven action. Strikes, however fierce, always returned to the table. In 1968, de Gaulle's government signed agreements. In 1995, pension reform collapsed only after talks stalled. Germany's IG Metall strikes routinely end with wage settlements. September 2025, no dialogue, no mediators, no concessions. Only 200 arrests and 80,000 police. That's not a labor dispute. It's confrontation designed to destabilize. Even in their most intense moments, labor movements rarely seek to topple governments. May 1968 demanded reforms, not de Gaulle's resignation. The UK miners fought to save jobs, not oust Thatcher. By demanding Macron's resignation, September's protests crossed the line from economic struggle to political challenge. That shift places them outside Europe's labor tradition, squarely into the realm of demographic strategy. If the protests themselves blurred the line, media coverage erased it further. In July's riots, media highlighted specific geographies like Seine-Saint-Denis. In September, the same areas were described vaguely as at the gates of the capital. Farmers' protests are reported with villages and sectors named in detail. Why the difference? Because geographic precision would expose continuity. The same banlieues, the same demographics. Instead, the focus shifted to central Paris, Châtelet, Les Halles, Place des Fêtes, creating the illusion of broad-based French protest. Equally telling was the unquestioned use of union and left-wing labels. Where farmer protests saw reporters dig deep into organizations, Bloquons tooth coverage let vague references stand. This selective incuriosity concealed the demographic origins while giving legitimacy through the language of labor. The French state, however, responded as if nothing had changed since July. Over 80,000 police, nearly 200 arrests, and a posture of security readiness. French authorities historically tolerate significant disruption from genuine unions. This time, they treated the protests as a threat to order, not as a negotiation partner. Their focus was on infrastructure, airports, transport, and public services. The same targets disrupted in July. The escalation to demanding Macron's resignation revealed a coordinated political challenge, not spontaneous labor agitation. Institutions recognized a strategic evolution, from territorial riots to dual-track mobilization, where legitimate political engagement is backed by the proven ability to unleash unrest. France is not alone. Similar demographic strategies bypass unions in Germany, where immigrant-majority protests have exerted pressure directly. In the UK, online coordination accompanied rail disruptions in 2022-23, blending grassroots activism with union action. Across Europe, demographic concentrations now convert into political leverage, disguised as labor solidarity. France's security services increasingly treat these episodes not as domestic disputes, but as national security challenges. France's September 2025 protests bore none of the marks of authentic labor unrest. No economic demands, no sector focus, no union leadership, and no negotiation. Instead, they revealed a demographic strategy that cloaked itself in labor vocabulary for legitimacy. Just as sacred texts can be shielded by reverence, these protests hid behind the reverence of labor solidarity. Democratic transparency demands cutting through that shield. The lesson is clear. Confusing demographic strategy with labor unrest risks granting legitimacy to movements that seek not negotiation, but domination. Thanks for watching. If the contents of the video were found useful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and visit the blog at Hindu Infopedia.